Hello everyone and welcome back yet again to another daily update video. My name is CryptoStash and I hope you're having an amazing week. Currently it is Friday, the end of this trading week, and we've got some crazy volatility happening in the markets right now. Since of yesterday we did have that capitulation overnight. As you can see, the Bitcoin price dumped very hard and right now is perfectly testing that value area high. If you look on the bigger time frame like the daily, you can see we still did not lose that key level that I was talking in the previous video, that I said we need Bitcoin to hold this particular level right here. You can see that's the value area high of this bigger range right here, and we are still above it. The Bitcoin price managed to stay above that value area high, as you can see right here, and right now is perfectly bouncing back above that weekly pivot, as you can see right here. And also the reason of this dump of around 7% for Bitcoin is, as you can see, yesterday the S&P 500 and also the Nasdaq, they rejected pretty hard from this trend line and also from that second weekly resistance, as you can see, and we did get that major dump to the downside for the stocks of around 2%, and basically the S&P 500 perfectly tested right to the dollar. You can see the first pivot point, the first weekly pivot support. We did get a perfect bounce also for the S&P 500, and right now it is back above that weekly pivot and is currently testing that first weekly resistance once again. So we managed to pump back another 1.5%. So basically of this dump we managed to recover. And also if we go back on Bitcoin, for example, you can see Bitcoin almost perfectly bounced from that weekly support one. You can see 102 was also almost the target. We bounced from 102.6 basically. And why is that? You can see also our momentum wave was pretty oversold, you can see, and also our RSI, once it dips below that 20 line and it gets oversold like this with color in it, you can see every time this happens and the price touches that 20 line or gets slightly below it, you can see always the follow-up is a pump. As you know, this is very key level, guys. The RSI, the 20 line and the 80 line is a very key. You need to follow this exactly right here. You can see once it got oversold, the next thing that happened was a dump. So very important levels to follow. The RSI is the most common indicator, but it is very useful if you know how to set it up right. I will show you in another video how I set up my indicators. But as of right now, let's go and look back at Ethereum. Ethereum, the same thing. After this capitulation to the downside, the RSI and the momentum wave got very oversold right here, as you can see. And the next thing that happens was the price of Ethereum got above that weekly pivot right here, and right now is currently almost 6% move to the upside, as you can see. So it is also recovering. We are still not losing this range right here. So in my opinion, this range, we won't lose it to the downside. In my opinion, something very crazy needs to happen for us to lose this range basically that we have been creating for a couple of weeks right now. And basically once we got this range right here for Ethereum, in my opinion, this consolidation will only lead for a upside. I don't think that this range will actually break to the downside and maybe test that previous range. I don't think that's a very possible scenario for it right now to go back below $2,000. But as you know, the cryptocurrency market is very volatile and anything can happen. But as I said, this is a very low percentage scenario. I don't believe that something like this will happen. The most probable scenario for this range is a break to the upside, and you see that this is exactly what will happen in the next coming weeks, in my opinion. So if you look at Solana actually had a much bigger dump, as you can see, and perfectly also tested that POC right here from that bigger range, still a very big support. And also we swept the lows of this lows right here. So basically there was liquidity sitting right here, and Solana perfectly swept this liquidity. As you can see, we even went below this low. So very nice move from Solana, and also right now bouncing from that weekly pivot support, as you can see, right through the dollar. And right now Solana has yet to reclaim that weekly pivot, as you know. And so basically once it gets above it, then I can expect some kind of a continuation to the upside. Maybe we do something like this. But as I mentioned, we need to look again at that Bitcoin dominance. So the Bitcoin dominance also right now had some like a swing failure pattern right here, and is currently rejecting from that second weekly pivot resistance. So we need it to go down, guys. So what we can look at is the daily time frame for the Bitcoin dominance, and we need to see our momentum waves get lower right here. So maybe we do something like this, and also possibly our RSI touches that 80 line, and then we need to see a very big drop for the Bitcoin dominance in order for the altcoins to take off. But this will happen in time. So we basically, in my opinion, in a couple of months possibly, or maybe in a couple of weeks. But as of right now, we still need to hold above this value area high right here. As you can see, for Bitcoin, very important level. And we also need the S&P 500 to not lose this trend line basically. So we needed to get back above it and continue the push to the upside in order for Bitcoin to also continue. And right now, after this pump, you can see we got lower open interest. So we basically got a lot of long positions liquidated right here. As you can see, our CVD went down, our open interest went down, and we got very big positions and a lot of long positions liquidated, as you can see right here. And if we look at the liquidation heat map, we still left some liquidity behind. And as of right now, most of the liquidity is still to the top, basically 109k. But it will be hard for the Bitcoin price to reach, in my opinion, for now, the 109k, since basically we have yet to recover that previous value area high of this range right here. Basically a very strong resistance. So Bitcoin has some work to do before it can reach that liquidity sitting on top. Also, if we look at the Bitcoin ETF inflows, so today once again it was positive, not as much as before, but still 86 millions of accumulation for Bitcoin is pretty nice. And if we look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, something very interesting that happens after this dump to the downside, this capitulation, the Fear and Greed Index went back into that neutral zone right here at 54 right now. So basically, as I mentioned, in the neutral zone, we won't stay for long. So basically, it's possible if we get another capitulation, maybe to like the 100Ks, test these lows right here and sweep them, then we can see our Fear and Greed Index go back into that fear zone possibly. But in my opinion, the most probable move will be to the upside, and then we will get back above into that fear zone. Also, if we look at the funding rates, you can see they are still pretty much positive on the major exchanges. So this is also a good sign for continuation. And also we did get for this week all of the news through. You can see for today we did get some the last news for Friday. And so basically right now the market is pretty still trying to pump back above. And this will be my outlook for today, guys. I hope you like the video, subscribe for the channel, and I'll see you back again in the next one. Have a nice weekend and bye.